In studio here with Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts. Quick shout out to Lawn Anglers as well. If you're looking for a new landscape company this spring, we highly recommend Lawn Anglers. Adam Long does a great job on our real estate properties. Lawn maintenance, landscaping, mulching, tree trimming, and cleanouts. Lawn Anglers. Reach out to the show. We'll put you in touch with Adam Long, and he does a great job here in Tampa Bay. All right, we got a hot listing here for this segment, 5930 River Road. This one is in Newport Richey. It's a beautiful property, waterfront home. It has that southern charm to it. This home is gorgeous. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 2-spot carport. You have 1 car garage that's detached. 1964 square foot heated, and it's over a half an acre of land. You have 80 feet of water frontage on the Cody River. Kitchen with the oak breakfast bar, greenhouse window, lots of great cabinetry, walk-in pantry, formal dining room with a chandelier, living room features wood beam, coffered ceilings, fireplace with stone mantel. Just a beautiful property. Too many upgrades to mention here. Metal roof, stone construction, cypress wood shingles. Great opportunity to own real estate. 5930 River Road, waterfront, Newport Richey. Bring your boat and enjoy that Florida lifestyle. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Okay, we got Alex Lima in studio with us here today. And Alex, we talk a lot about self-defense, situational awareness, and I think that is the key, especially, with this open southern border, this, increased amount of activity in terms of gang activity, drugs, fentanyl coming across the border. What's your thoughts around situational awareness?
Also on that, I don't think it's even just the people that are with bad intentions, because there's people with good intent coming over the border as well, but there's a lot of bad intentions coming over the border as well.
Sure.
We know that these countries are sending over terrorists. They're emptying their jail systems and sending them over, just like Castro did back in the day with the Mariel Harbor. Like,
yep.
This is a proven model. It's been done already, right?
Yep.
But also, what a lot of people, a lot of your criminals that are already in house,
yep.
right? The ones that were born and raised here, they see it as a free pass,
right?
They're either going to piggyback on what the people coming over the border are doing, or they're like, oh, we just blame it on them. They'll think it's them, and we'll dress like them, and then we'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So It's like there's a lot of bad. There's a lot more involved, for the people that are like, oh, they're racist and they want to put that wall up, and it's like, it's not about that. It's about, why do you have a fence? Why do you lock your door?
Yeah, why have sovereignty?
You have a wall on your house. Why? You
Yeah.
have a door locked, right?
Exactly.
Why not just leave it wide open then?
Absolutely.
Anyways, but awareness is key. You have to be aware that those things exist, these things are going on, and then you have to have a plan of action.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because, finally now I think there's enough outcry from even some of the blue states, some of the Democrat mayors are saying, hey, we can't continue to do this. Our budgets are being blown up. The New York mayor, a lot of people are saying that, but it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast over the weekend, and it was just very it was an interesting content and conversation because we were talking about the founders of the country and, the types of government of rule. And it even throws in old Aristotle here. It's an interesting cut from the Kirk show.
As Aristotle described, 2,500 years ago, there are 3 sort of forms of government and modes of power. These are democracy, the rule of the many, oligarchy, the rule of the few, and monarchy, the rule of the one. And what we see in American history is about every 75 or 80 years, sort of like the San Andreas Fault, you basically get a presidential government. Your government goes from being, sort of the rule of the many is pretty hard to pull off these days. The rule of the few is pretty normal in this system. I'm
going to pause there because I think right now is what we're experiencing is this rule of the few with oligarchy. So you have, for example, BlackRock, companies that control $10 trillion of assets. You have just the blanket of Wall Street, the amount of influence that Wall Street has. And then also these multinational corporations that claim to be news organizations, MSDNC and these types of platforms, just blatantly putting out lies. 91, there was a stat too that came out recently, 91% of the coverage last year, or it may have been the year prior, of President Trump was negative news, negative coverage, 91%. So these are the types of, this is where we're at now. And in the founding of our country had such great intention. And John Adams said that in order for this Constitution to work, it has to be governed by and for moral people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of our leaders are not moral these days.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest issue that the human race, the species as a whole, faces, is there's not enough people that have a good moral values and discipline to withhold those values, do what you need to do,
Right.
Because good intentions are amazing, but again, like when belief systems, when laws, when things are put into place, that is all under the assumption that people are going to follow those rules, walk that path, and follow those laws.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the gun restriction laws, or even do any law on the planet, speed limits, okay, red lights, traffic lights, and stuff and everything. That is under the assumption that people are going to do the right thing and stop at that red light, go the speed limit that is being that you're being told to go.
Sure.
And people that the only people that are affected by that are the people that obey the laws and have good moral values.
Right.
Always.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And here's an interesting clip, too, about the Constitution.
The idea that if you could bring the founders back and basically show them D.C. as it is today, they would just be like, what does this even have to do with the thing we created? Like, how are you basically using these 18th century documents to justify this thing?
That's the tragedy, is that they don't need to rewrite the Constitution. They've just ignored it.
Yeah.
They just kind of built their own thing.
They've made it a dead letter. And the thing is, you know what else is a dead letter? The Articles of Confederation.
Yes.
Nobody ever abolished the Articles of Confederation. They just said, well, this isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, so that type of dialogue needs to happen more in this country. We need to have more of that, and I think we've got some positive things happening too.
Yeah,
when you look at the number one podcast in the world, Rumble at least is Dan Bongino. You look at Joe Rogan coming out, Kirk Prager, all the folks on our channel, Gallagher, Brandon Tatum. I mean, there's a lot of warriors out there, and I think more and more people are getting their information from podcast or some type of a conservative type outlet, and at least hearing that other side. Now, you do have people that are so off on that island that they still believe in kind of the DEI policies or the climate change, the climate cult, laying in front of cars, stopping traffic when people are trying to get to the hospital, or the kids got to pick the kids up by a certain time, but they're going to lay in the middle of the road.
How ridiculous is all that?
Yeah.
That stuff takes precedence over people's families and well-being and safety.
Right.
It's crazy, and it's all stuff that's built on fallacies. Like, there's no documented proof of these claims and the stuff that these people make.
Yeah. It really is an interesting time that we live in, but I think we're here for a purpose, and God has a plan. So that's it's the spiritual warfare, and it really I truly believe
the
that's
best
exactly
statement
what we're
there
doing.
though from that clip there was where the guy is like, it doesn't have to be rewritten. They just need to stop ignoring it. You just got to follow, and that's true to so many things, man. The laws don't need to be rewritten.
Right.
You just got to follow the laws that are currently in place.
That's right.
The Bible. You don't need to go. You got to follow what it says. You just got to go back to paying attention to the roots of what made us so great to begin with when this country was founded.
Absolutely, man. Here's something that we can kind of close on with positivity around language and emotions. Tony Robbins, quick clip here.
I think it's not just the spoken word or the written word. I think it's the words you use within yourself as well.
Amen.
So let me give a context of how I look at it. I look at it as the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. It doesn't matter how many people love you, respect you. It doesn't matter how many great children or family members you have. You're not going to have a very fulfilled life unless you're feeling emotions each day that enhance your experience of life, whether it's love or gratitude or grace or whatever, excitement, passion. But emotions are created by meanings.
So the meaning, what he's saying there too, is that the meaning that we assign to a certain scenario that played out, right? So we had a conversation with whoever it is. What meaning did we take from that? Or there's an event that happened. How do we frame that meaning, right? So if we can reframe that one of two ways, we can say, look, what good can come from this? Or, oh, why did this happen to me? Boo hoo hoo, right? So I think that's the key element there is framing it and having the meaning and the language that you say to yourself, the internal language, is going to be such a key determinant on your success.
It's the power within. You know, it truly is the power within, and that's something that, you know, with exactly what we're discussing right now, I've struggled with it myself, and I still fight with it sometimes of how to view perspective on a situation. But like, let's say, for example, you and I are standing in line, and some guy cuts us off.
Yeah.
You may be like, oh man, that guy must be in a hurry or something like that, you know, and like have this like more late, and I'll be like, what the heck is this guy doing cutting us off? You know, it's same scenario.
It's not fair.
The perspective. But look at the power that by me getting angry that I gave that situation.
Exactly.
And I took it away from myself. Because regardless how you think or I think, that guy don't care. So, you know, we're giving power to something that's essentially meaningless in that moment, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So learn to harness your power, you know, your power within.
Yeah, and learn to know when and when to not give a crap, you know?
Absolutely, man. So, there's a great book, the Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Yeah.
Right?
I've heard about that. I read it, I think, back in the day.
Great book. Read it again. But to sum it up, you have to master the subtle art of not giving a F.
Yeah.
And your life will be easier for it.
Control your own power. All right, that's Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts, consumerqb.com. You can find him there as well, consumerqb.com. Nick Shriver coming up, Decorating Elves, local success story, local company right here in Tampa Bay. Also, 30-year, 10-year Treasury yields. We're going to talk about that and the rates, the potential for real estate, Federal Reserve movement. Coming up, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate.